if you're wanting 10% off, where does that come from?
Yeah.
8% is profit. So if I give you 8% off, then there goes all my profit in it, but I still got to find 2% somewhere else.
What is up, fence fam? Joe Everest, your fence expert. A few months ago, back in January, we brought in Kevin with Landmark Creations for the first ever winner of Spend a Day with the Expert, and it went incredibly well. So well that we want to share what that day looks like with you guys. Now, for confidentiality reasons, we're not showing you the whole thing, but we hope to give you an insight as to what that day looks like so that in the future, you might enter to come spend a day with the expert. Without further ado, let's dig into it.
Yeah. Well, and what's nice too is with technology, it's on my phone too. Like I've got the app.
You can look at it right now.
At a glance, I can look at it and know exactly how everything's allocated. Yeah. And like I said, it's also going to tell me if we need to change, if payroll starts getting out of whack, and I say, okay, well, we did hire on 4 more guys, so maybe we need to do 31%. I know I need to reallocate, that 1% from OpEx. Okay, well, now we're going to have to spend less money on OpEx, or it comes from one of the other buckets, but usually it's from OpEx.
Well, and that's a comforting feeling, looking at all those accounts, knowing where every single dollar is. And like the way mine's set up now, I know where every single dollar is.
Yeah.
But it's all in one.
Yeah.
And I like it more simplified like that.
Like at a glance.
Yeah. At a glance. I can just at a glance see exactly what is what.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a big danger if you don't add up all the numbers out of the one account. You can really shoot yourself in the foot.
Well, and having your process too can also be the checks and balances for this too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To make sure both of these models say the same thing.
Yeah.
So not a bad idea. Well, and that's the thing is there's a reason we get hired to do the work.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason.
Yep.
Either it's hard because it is, or it takes a long time because it does, or there's just specific knowledge that we have on how this thing goes together and where it lasts a long time and it looks nice.
Well, we were talking about this with my helper the other day, and I said, well, it's like you don't go into the Kia dealership or Ford. You and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I know that truck's $30,000, but if you want my business, you're gonna have to pay $20,000. Take my $20,000. It's like it doesn't work that way.
No, they'll say, well, or use that in any other business, right? Same thing with a shoe store. You can't go in there and say this is $29.99, but I'll give you $12 for it.
Yeah, how about $12?
Or hey, this other shoe store is selling shoes for less. They'd say, well, then you should probably go buy those shoes, I guess. I don't know. My shoes are my price.
That shoe may fall apart,
right?
In a year,
right?
Our shoes won't.
Yeah, there's always that conversation, no matter what it is. But for whatever reason, and contractors in general, it's not just fence guys. It's contracting trades in general had just got to a point where we're like, well, okay, I'll shave a little bit off, and that's one of the things that the profit first system is nice for too, because for a fact where that money has to go. So you say, okay, well, if you're wanting 10% off, where does that come from?
Yeah.
8% is profit. So if I give you 8% off, then there goes all my profit in it, but I still got to find 2% somewhere else. Now, I can't go renegotiate with my guys on what they're going to get paid.
No,
that's not fair to them. They're still going to do the same work for less. I can't go renegotiate what I pay for materials. They won't take anything less. I'm sure not going to go renegotiate with Uncle Sam on my taxes.
Yeah.
I don't have 10% to come off my price. I really don't. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to have your business. However, I can't afford it. I can't afford to do that. Now, are there other people in town that might? Sure. So that's a real thing, is to keep that mentality. So, and that's why I tell my guys is listen, I've worked here. I've worked here for my dad. I worked here for my granddad. I know the pain points around here, right? And so that's what we're doing is we're building a business we would want to work at.
Yeah.
I remember what that's like. We're not going back, right? We're going to invest in equipment. We're going to do this and do that, stuff that we didn't do before, stuff that we couldn't do before, right? I'm not going to say that Dad just didn't want to. It just wasn't an option, right? But if we have the option, we're going to take advantage of it now. Right, so it's a quarterly analysis, and quarterly works for us. It could be different for different places, but some sort of look back on what expenses did we pay last month or last quarter, Are they necessary? Like, can we justify them? Do they at least point towards some revenue? Right? Do they support revenue in some way? Can we cut them out and have a reasonable expectation that we'll keep the same revenue?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's important for the word there's managing the overhead, because I think that's a key part of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It is.
If you can stay lean and mean through this, then when things do slow down, you're in great shape.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, we've been here. Right.
Right.
Like, we are lean and mean and we're ready to go. So scheduling is very different. Also, communication is very different.
Yeah.
So Sarah's communication is through Job Nimbus largely. Now, some of it's phone calls, but largely it's through Job Nimbus because the whole team can look at it and know, right? So if Candace gets a call, she can pull up the notes. She can pull up the account and the job and know, okay, well, Sarah and them have been talking about through email about this color or this, whatever the choices are. And then Candace can say something like that. Oh, I see you guys have been talking about cedar tone and this and that. Is it a question of fault? Whatever the question is. Whereas Dad's is very much, if it's a commercial question, it just has to go to him.
Yeah.
Like, he just has to be the one to answer it because it's all in his head.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, the sooner you can go to documenting everything, the better.
Yeah.
And when I say documenting, Job Nimbus for us is documenting the conversations, also the process, right? So we've got different boards for, how many boards are there? 30 or 40 boards?
Probably.
And it just transferred, like, each job, depending on what step of the process it is, it could be pre-consultation, so they've done a quote tool, but they haven't scheduled a consultation, or they have scheduled, or they've talked to Sarah, and then Sarah sends them the estimate, and then first follow-up, second follow-up. Conversation that we were kind of getting into was scheduling, Dad. So Sarah had kind of talked a little bit about what her scheduling looks like. A little bit. And we were bragging on you about your scheduling because it's all in your head that you just kind of intuitively know how long it's going to take the guys to perform a certain task and which guys perform which task and what time, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll give you each a couple of things that have real confidential information about our company, so I'd appreciate you not sharing it with anybody.
Oh, no. We signed the paperwork over for
Yeah.
that. Well, that ain't going to happen. We signed our life away with
Well, this is, I tend to be very paper-oriented.
Yeah.
I send all the proposals by email, pull plans off the internet. I still do better if I see stuff on paper.
Yeah.
So the one form, or the one list I keep is every commercial job that we have confirmed. And
so
if I was going to use this to educate someone else, I'd have what the actual job is and all of that.
Gotcha.
But I can look at it and know that is a cantilever gate system done.
So are the dots next to them?
That's part of my doodling of which ones I've gotten scheduled.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll actually mark through. I make a new list of these every week. So I'll have an updated list over here, transfer over the ones we haven't got to.
I see.
Mark through the ones that we finished. Dot the ones that are scheduled for that week.
Okay. That's interesting. That's a cool way of doing it, actually.
Well, it gives me one place to look and see all the jobs that I've got to figure out that are due to be installed. And then the other piece of paper next to it is the work that we really need to get done in the next couple of 3 weeks. Because on the master list, like and several of those aren't even ready to go yet.
Okay.
They've confirmed it, they've confirmed the price, I brought in the material, but they're not ready.
But they're not ready to go,
And overheard Joe talking about how I do our scheduling. I'll actually transfer 2 weeks worth of this to a wall-mounted planner. Again,
Okay.
it's
How long have you been doing it this way for? Long time? It's really simple. I like that. I like the dots.
Been
That's
kind
so
of
cool.
refining it
Yeah.
over the last several years.
It's so easy too. It's like you know exactly.
I used to keep everything in my head.
Yeah.
Until I got to the point of 3 crews and trying to juggle stuff between them.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I thought about instead of going to 2 crews this summer to maybe just have 1, 3 again to see how it works.
Yeah, I would do that, a 3 or a 4. You know, if you could do 4 instead of doing 2 2-man crews, I'd do 1 4-man. That way, you plus 3, because then you can again train guys. It frees you up. You know, hey, now you've got a 3-man crew plus you, and you're doing the project management, right? You're talking with the client, you're working ahead a little bit, you're doing some layouts, and you're figuring out which of these 3 guys is going to be the next one up, right? So I would do that before I split off into 2 separate crews.
I really love that because that's one thing of being in the business for years, working for people. That was one thing that was like, this is top secret information. You can't.
Right.
And I'm sure there's some things you're not going to share.
Yeah, right.
But as a whole, it's like, you know, I'd like to know. Like when I left, I worked for a company for 5 years before I went to. We had 14 crews, and my last day there, we did the exit interview, and they told me, they said, by the way, you're our third highest profitable foreman. And I said, it's funny you tell me this when I'm leaving. You didn't bother to tell me, you know,
where was that information before?
I didn't know if the jobs were, I mean, I could figure as much based on, the time allotted for install.
Sure.
You know, we're getting them done early. I knew we were doing good. But nobody ever said, like, you know, hey, man, you got this job under, you know, like, guys did great. We did great this month. You know, never heard that at all. And that's was like, man, I wish I would have heard that.
Exactly.
And like I tell Brandon all the time, like, I'll tell him, hey, man, good job. I give him a fist bump, you know, pat him on the back. Give him a $100 bill once in a while as a bonus. You know, do little things for him. And, you know, because to me, I was like, it would mean not even a raise, but it would mean like, hey, man, you guys did great this week. Good job. It's like, that really does something to an installer, you know?
It does.
Thank you, you know?
Talk about commercial and residential. Then we'll talk about retail and fabrication, production in general, and then we'll just kind of go through questions, comments. We'll do attaboys. What do we call them? We call them shout outs. Everybody gets it.
No, attagirls?
Yeah, attagirls too. That's why we call them shout outs now. Yes.
Just one of the guys.
I am one of the guys.
But, all right, so Dad, commercial. Now, I'm telling you what, guys. I mean, not saying anything about anybody, but I walked in and I was super impressed with what we have going on, because I think it's easy to see what we're doing and where we can improve and think we're behind because we haven't hit these improvements yet. But let me tell you, with what's out there in the wild, we've got a good thing going here. Yeah, we really, really do. So I was really impressed. Of course, I had to do the, oh, wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, good.
But I also just wanted to say, like, we didn't have that a year ago.
Right.
Like, and I think that's a huge testament to these guys and, like, how much work that they've put into it.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different beast.
And think about what we're in the middle of, trying to reorganize things, build an inventory system.
And what we went from to where we are. Like, that's what's huge, you know? Like,
so that's kind of how and I can kind of deep dive into this a little bit, but it kind of talks about what we talked about before. Goes to the quote tool, and then the customer or us, we complete it for them, and then it'll send the customer a link to schedule a consult call. So if I'm on the phone walking the customer through the quote tool, I don't have them obviously jump on there.
Right.
But I do kind of explain to them how to use it, because a lot of times what I'll find is that even if I walk them through that, 2 or 3 more will come in after that for them, just because they're looking at chain link versus wood, that sort of thing. And then as soon as that quote tool comes in, let's say it's in our email inbox, we'll add it to Job Nimbus, and I'll kind of show you some of that too. But then the consult link's sent, and we do the consult call.
But it's also, that checklist is also a great training tool.
It is.
Right?
Exactly.
So have the new guy do the walkthrough with the crew chief, because then it's also, hey, here's what I'm looking for. So now maybe you understand a little bit better why I was very particular about these things.
Yeah.
Because it led to this final thing that is on my checklist, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're hoping to, is it turns into a training tool.
It's a training tool, but also it keeps everybody on their toes. Think about pilots. They're the best, highly trained people in the world. Everything they do, you follow the checklist.
Yeah.
Follow the checklist.
There's a process for a reason.
All right, guys, that wraps up the look into the first ever Spend a Day with the Expert. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember that I love interacting with you guys in the comments, and also it helps give us ideas on future content to make. Also, we do these contests about 4 times a year, so we're likely going to be doing another one soon. If you're not subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe so that you get a notification when we run the next contest. And also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/The Real Joe Everest. I announce it on both channels whenever we're running a new Spend a Day with the Expert. I'd love to see you guys here. With all that being said, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you that good fences make good neighbors, and I'll see you next time.